Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. It's Friday, you know what that means. It's time for another Fan Art Friday sketch. Still doing our series of Stranger Things, some of the kids from that series. And yeah, this one's one of my personal favorites. I think it's a lot of people's favorites. So yeah, we're gonna do Dustin today. So if you wanna see how I did this, stay tuned and I'll show you the whole process right here. Okay, here we go once again with our series of Stranger Things fan art for our Fan Art Friday, and this is the second one in the series that I've done. Actually, I don't know if that's true or not. I did, as far as these portraits, this is the second one. I did one of 11 before this sort of a black and white ink drawing, but these are going to be colored sort of portraits, like oversized sketch cards. I was going to do them as sketch cards, but I decided I wanted to go a little larger scale. So they're about the size of a postcard. And, you know, when I'm done, I'll collect them all together, and I don't know, we'll see if I do anything with them. But this one's Dustin. This is probably one of my favorite characters, a lot of people's favorite from Stranger Things. And if you guys have seen it, you probably know why. He's sort of, I don't want to say he's comic relief, because there's a lot of other humor in the thing, but I don't know, he's just a great character, and like all the actors on the on this show, just amazing and everything. So but anyway, so I'm using my Cola Erase pencil, red. That's probably what I'll do for all of these sketches. And the reason why I use red, well, no particular reason. I think it shows up a little better on camera than the blue. And typically, I don't usually use like lead-based pencils, like the graphite. I say lead. They're not really lead anymore. Graphite, just because I don't know. That to me they're a little more messy, and I don't really do a lot of like shading, and because I usually go over everything with ink and everything. So. And they're a little. They have kind of a waxiness to them. So again, that helps with it. Not, you know, it sticks a little better to the page, and I don't know, just kind of like that. And then of course I'll once I finish sketching this guy out, then I'll go over it with ink, and I'll be using my new Kiritaki brush that I use that I really dig. So. As far as likenesses, I'm trying to keep it a little more cartooning, somewhere between a portrait and you know, a cartoon, I guess. So I create a comic book called Young and the Dead, and if you're a fan of Stranger Things, you might dig it. The first 2 issues are on my store, even though I do have 3 issues out. But I'm redoing my store, so I'll have a whole bunch of new stuff up there, including that 3rd issue of Young and the Dead. And it's basically, in a lot of ways, it's similar to Stranger Things in that it's kind of an homage to those 80s movies. You know, Steven Spielberg movies, a little bit of Stephen King in there, kind of like this. And just to let you guys know, I've been working on this book for a long time, way before Stranger Things, even before like Super 8, because I think I was wrapping up the first issue of Young and the Dead when Super 8 came out. So. But you know, like a lot, like the Duffer Brothers who created this show, they were inspired by that. And what's kind of amazing is they were born, I think, a couple years after the time period that this happened. I think this takes place in '83. Maybe they were born in '84 or '85, if I remember. So a lot of this is just, you know, I think they're just fans of cinema and movies of that time, because they would have been too young to actually remember a lot of what happened in that time period. So that's what really impresses me, because despite not living through that like I did, because I remember I take things from when I was growing up and I kind of put them in my comic and everything, and little homages to toys and stuff I played with, or just, you know, slang that we used, or just general, those, you know, things that you would see in film at that time. But again, I lived through it, and those guys, they did such an excellent job, even though that was kind of a little bit before their time. And same thing with the kids that played these characters. All of them just really captured that time period. But Dustin here, he's just such a great character. A lot of humor, a lot of the humor from the show comes from him. And he's kind of, they nickname, the bullies kind of nicknamed him Toothless because he's missing like, I don't know, two or a few of his front top teeth. And I guess that's, I've seen pictures of him outside of that, and he does appear to have teeth, but I heard that was like a real, in the I was going to say the movie, in the television show, he mentions what his condition was that he has. It prolongs his teeth coming in or whatever, so it just takes longer for them to come in. And he mentions whatever that condition is, but I guess that's a real condition that the actor had. So I guess they worked it into the script. So, and that was interesting. I also heard that like his voice was changing during the filming, so they had to go back, and I think he had to go back and like ADR a lot of his lines. I didn't really pick up on that. I didn't notice it, but when you watch closer, sometimes you can kind of see it. But they did a pretty good job with that. So, anyway, so we're on to back to the sketch. I'm using a number of different markers to fill this in. I'm using right now the Spectrum Noir markers, and I also use the Pantone Tria markers, which my set are quite a bit older, so I don't know if you can find those same ones. And then I also use Copics, which are probably the most popular and the most expensive. So I use whatever I can get my hands on. So I've collected some from jobs and things that I've done or whatever. So I kind of take whatever I can get. But some of them are running out of ink, and I'm going to have to reorder some ink. And the good thing about most of these markers is that they're refillable. So I've got a lot of the refills for the Pantone, but not so much for the Copics or the Spectrum. So, and I don't know. I guess you might be able to use the different inks. They probably won't match exactly, but the good thing is because they are so expensive, you can buy like a refill that costs about as much as the marker, and you can refill it, a number of times. I don't know if it's like 8 to 10, maybe more. I don't know. I haven't bought any refills for the Copics yet, but anyway. So I've kind of illustrate. I started off. Like when I first started my career, I was big into like marker rendering. I mean, that's the first art job I ever got. That's what I got hired for, was to do marker rendering. And then, kind of when computers became more prevalent, it kind of went away. So it's kind of cool that they've come back, and a lot of people are using more of this traditional marker media to do sketches and stuff, because I really like the way they work. So anyway. Back to the character of Dustin. He kind of like steals a lot of scenes, and just again, a lot of the humor comes from him. And there was one scene in particular. So I don't want to give too away. This isn't like major spoilers, but it just cracked me up. So the character of 11, who's this little girl that they find out in the woods, and she's kind of got this mysterious past, which you learn more about her. But she's kind of raised in this test facility, I guess you could call it. And so she's been monitored her whole life and everything like that. And so they're trying to get her in some clean clothes. So they give her some clean clothes, and she just goes to lift up her shirt to undress, because I guess privacy is not a thing to her, because she, like I said, she's kind of been raised in this weird and strange environment. And so the boys, of course, they freak out like no, and Dustin. So finally they get her to go change in the bathroom and everything. And the whole time Dustin's like, "Did you see what she did?" And he keeps making the motion like she's about to lift up her shirt, like just like baffled that happened. But he keeps doing it. It's just like that just cracked me up. And so anyway, but man, all the characters in this show I really dig. And so Dustin and a lot of them have these kind of story arcs. They're not like major, but these progressions of these characters. Like in the beginning, Dustin is kind of like he's kind of the guy that doesn't want to participate in the way he wants to. This is too weird. We're not getting it. Don't get involved. Let's not do this and everything. But as time goes on, there's confrontations with bullies where he kind of steps up, and it's just cool to see that character. And of course, he's the one that I wouldn't. Some people are comparing him from Chunk to the Goonies, but I don't really think so. He does like snacks and everything, but it's not so like over the top as Chunk. But anyway, great character. And really enjoyed doing this sketch. If you want to see more Stranger Things, let me know who's your favorite character. Yeah, leave that in the comment section. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys later. That is all.